Hey, LA4. We're going to start our next unit called The 7 Keys of Comprehension, and it's all about how we as readers can do things to help us better understand the things that we read. And our first key that we're going to look at today is the key of creating mental imagery. So when we read, authors do things to help us picture in our mind what is going on. So we're going to do a little work today about how they do this and how we can recognize it, and then how maybe it will help us better understand what we read. So I know that we've already talked about word choice when we were doing our Moments That Matter essay. So we're going to it's a little bit of a repeat of that, but we're going to try to figure out exactly what effect it has on us as readers instead. Okay? All right, I'm going to move the camera so that we can look at our examples. Okay, so bear with me real quick. Whoops, wrong way. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this example from A Wrinkle in Time. Some of you may have read that book a long time ago, maybe. And what we're going to do is look for how the author portrays a sense of calm through the words, okay? So when we first think about writers using description, they're going to use things like adjectives, so words that describe with color, shape, size, texture. They will also use strong verbs. And we talked about this the other day. Remember when we read that example about the recruits getting their hair cut? So strong verbs, and along with that goes adverbs. So adverbs tell us how something is done, where it's done, when it is done, to what extent. So these two work together, the strong verbs to show us what's happening and the adverbs to show how it is happening. And then finally, authors are going to appeal to our five senses. So I know we talked about that with narrative, and you as the authors try to incorporate that stuff. All right, so appealing to your five senses, of course, we try to make readers be able to smell things, see it, hear it, taste it, and feel it. All right, so we're going to read this excerpt from A Wrinkle in Time, and I want you to try to figure out how the author, Madeleine L'Engle, is creating a sense of calm. All right. Meg knelt down at her mother's feet. The warmth and light of the kitchen had relaxed her so that her attic fears were gone. The cocoa steamed fragrantly in the saucepan. Geraniums bloomed on the windowsills, and there was a bouquet of tiny yellow chrysanthemums in the center of the table. The curtains with a blue and green geometrical pattern were drawn and seemed to reflect their cheerfulness throughout the room. The furnace purred like a great sleepy animal. The lights glowed with steady radiance outside. Alone in the dark, the wind still battered against the house, but the angry power that had frightened Meg while she was alone in the attic was subdued by the familiar comfort of the kitchen. Okay, so we're trying to figure out how Madeleine L'Engle uses words to make this idea of calmness. Obviously, something has happened to our character Meg that scared her, and now she is in the kitchen. So what is it about the kitchen that creates this calmness? Okay, some of you may have talked about the warmth and light in the kitchen, and it's, I'm going to get to that here in a second. What else? We see geraniums blooming on the windowsills. Nothing bad can happen in a house that has flowers, right? There was a bouquet of tiny yellow chrysanthemums. So that yellow is always a really nice color to make us feel happy. What else do we see? We have these curtains with a blue and green geometrical pattern. Okay, and they describe, Madeleine L'Engle describes the cheerfulness of those curtains. Let's see, lights glowed. So we have this nice glow, yellowy glow. Let's see. And we have the kitchen being comforting. Whoops, the pen is not working very well. Oh gosh, kids. There we go. Okay, so this all goes to this idea of calmness. All right, so let's see where Langle used strong verbs and adverbs, so actions. Okay, let's see, and we'll try to figure out if they go along with the calmness, but we might find some words that are opposite. All right, so we have the word relaxed that tells us that she's feeling calm. Her fears were gone. Let's see, what are there other actions? Oh, the furnace. What does the furnace do? The furnace purred like a great sleepy animal. Oh, our lights glowed. I don't know if I can go over that again. So glowed might be one. All right, now we have a contradictory verb. What did the wind do? It battered against the house. So that kind of is a contrast to show us how calm the inside of the kitchen was. We have this contrasting word of the wind battering against the house. But the power that had frightened Meg while she was alone in the attic was subdued. So that goes to the calmness that the author's trying to get us to feel. All right, and finally, let's see if there's anything we can hear, smell, taste. All right, on a cold day, cocoa sounds pretty good. The cocoa steamed fragrantly. Okay. You might be able to smell the flowers, but the author doesn't actually use any words to show that. So it looks more like our fragrant cocoa is our only 5 cents. Okay, so I want to show you here a little bit at the bottom some explanation. Get a little bit closer here. Okay. So the author is using words like the cocoa steamed fragrantly and a bouquet of tiny chrysanthemums to appeal to our 5 senses. And we've got these strong verbs like the furnace purred and the wind still battered to give us an idea of the force of these things. And then our job as readers is to let these images take shape in our minds so that we can more easily picture what's going on. And if you can create a picture based on the words that the author is giving us, then you're a little bit better to understand what is happening, okay? All right, let's try another one. Okay, I want you to grab a piece of scrap paper. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be in your notebook. It could be on the back of a receipt, whatever. So just grab a little piece of scrap paper real quick, okay? Okay, so this paragraph is taken from a book called The Alphabet Tree by Leon, oh my gosh, I can't talk. Even when I'm not with you, I can't talk. Leoni, and it's about an alphabet tree. And so we want our reader to get a depiction of wind, okay? This is our operative thing, so wind. So I want you to think about wind. Now, grab something to write with in your little scrap piece of paper, and I want you to draw an actual picture of what you're seeing based on these words. Okay, got it? All right, here we go. It says, one day the breeze became a strong gust, and the gust became a gale. The letters clung to the leaves with all their might, but some were blown away, and the others were very frightened. When the storm had passed, they huddled together in fear, deep in the foliage of the lower branches. Okay, take a minute. Based on the words, I want you to draw a quick picture of what you think's happening. Okay, got your picture? All right, how did you convey wind? Well, I bet most of you probably drew a tree, right? Because it was an alphabet tree. Did any of you guys put actual letters on it? Okay. Anybody use leaves? Okay. So how do you show wind? What would you draw to show wind? Well, I gave it a shot, and here's what I came up with. So I tried to use some swirly lines to represent wind and make it look like it was, whoops, sorry about this, guys, to make it look like it was blowing. So I wonder if anybody did that. Okay, and then we have our tree. Oh my gosh, I can't get this to straighten out like it's supposed to. Sorry, guys. All right, so then we have our tree here. And then what did it say? Some of the letters were blown off. And I used like actual letters. Oh, did anybody do like a letter that somebody had written like in an envelope? That might be kind of cool. Like it was, you know, square pieces of paper like flying away. What else did it say? It talked about huddling together in the bottom branches. And I tried, I don't know if you can see it, but I put like squiggly lines to show that the letters were like shaking, like they were afraid. So what authors do when they're trying to get us to picture something is that they choose their words so carefully so that we can come up with an image in our heads, okay? So that's what we're going to focus on for a couple of days about how authors do this. And our job is to allow this to happen. Okay, now I want you to read over the handout that you should have received and put on page 26 in your notebook, okay, about making a movie in your mind. Then I need for you to go back to Classroom and click on the video that explains the assignment about a poem called The Fish, okay? All right, my dears, I will see you Monday.